God has been the subject of countless works of art throughout the ages. Perhaps this is because the essence and nature of God, though perpetually explored, remains a mystery to most. The Sistine Chapel, the novel Moby Dick, and the Mesquita Mosque are just a few examples of God in art. In following the footsteps of the artisans who tackled the enigma of God through their work, I too chose to explore God as the subject of my project. I looked specifically through the lens of the Hindu deity Krishna. Krishna is the most revered god in the Hindu religion. In order to gain a fuller understanding of Krishna, I attended a Hare Krishna worship center. The building itself was as nondescript as a building possibly can be. The interior of the building included a foyer with a large shoe rack in which shoes are to be placed upon entering, a tiny playroom for children, a kitchen, and a large room approximately the size of a basketball court. The large room, the one in which worshiping took place, had an oversized bell hanging in the threshold of its doorway. The interior of the room was bare except for a washing station, a stage, and an altar. The washing station sat next to the door and consisted of a small table which held a brass tray, wash bowl, and kettle. The stage was decorated in vivid colors. A sky was painted on the backdrop. Silk banners hung from the ceilings. Sitting atop a marble platform was displayed two little identical dolls who looked frozen in a dance move. Below the dolls sat 7 framed pictures of various yogis. Flowers covered the dolls, the pictures, and the stage. The altar, on top of which sat a tiny golden statue of a man named Swami Prabhupada, was tucked demurely against a wall. The bell was rung by each person as they entered. From there, they moved to the wash station, where they poured a bit of the liquid from the kettle onto their hands, rubbed them together, and dotted their foreheads with the oil. They then moved to the stage and either bowed or lay prostrate in front of the cute little dolls. They then made their way to the altar with the golden statue. To him, they also bowed. They took their seats on a provided yoga mat. The men sat in one group together on one side of the room, while the women sat together on the other side. A white man in his early 30s, shaved head but for a ponytail at the top, like a cartoon island, wrapped in a white cloth, yellow paint stripes on his arms and face, led the session. The congregation was composed entirely of Indians, save for a white couple and a white mother with her 2 freckled-faced ginger kids. Before the teacher spoke, 2 Indian teenagers made raw and tribal-sounding music for a half hour without a single break. One sang, and one beat on an ancient drum. The girl wailed the words Hare Krishna into a microphone. She arranged the enunciation of Hare Krishna differently in each verse, but she never sang words other than that. Upon completion of the song, chant, the speaker took his seat on a chair barely taller than the ground. He recited Hare Krishna many times in a row in a haunting, sing-song way, then began his lesson. I will refrain from using the word strange to describe my experience at the Vedic Center, and I will instead use the word exotic. Everything was exotic: the sights, smells, sounds, and sermons. Upon entering the building, my first sense which was hit upon was smell. Sandalwood incense, spicy, earthy, and smoky, was thick in the air. The smell was not unpleasant, though it was very strong. I took off my shoes, and the cool, impeccably clean linoleum on my bare feet felt glorious. Certain things were striking to me. First was the prostrate position in which people worshipped. I did not like seeing a human frozen in place, face touching the floor, submissive, and I can't explain why. Second, I found it odd that a white man led a group of Indians in a lecture written in their native tongue. Third, I found the song, chant, to be hypnotic. The lesson itself was equal parts inspiring and nonsensical. As a whole, a few bright spots conveyed deeper wisdom, but most of the lesson was convoluted. After the ceremony was over, I made my way to my car, and the teacher chased me into the parking lot. insisting that I take home a plate of delicious home-cooked vegetarian Indian food. As promised, it was delicious. Overall, my experience at the Vedic Center accomplished its goal in connecting me to an ancient energy source. The thrumming music and passion of the devotees was indeed inspirational. It helped me to understand why artists have drawn and continue to draw such unending inspiration from God.